The arena of Karth Prime was carved from black stone, and old Firmilians watched from the rising tier. Zalian eyes glowed in colors no human tongue could name. The air trembled with heat and hunger. In the center of the pit stood a single human. His name was Captain Elias. Rowan, his hands were bound in magnetic cuffs. Blood ran from his brow. His left eye was swollen shut. His ribs ached with every breath. Across from him stood 3 warriors of the Vrok Dominion, tall creatures with plated skin and 4 thick arms. Each hand ended in a hooked blade grown from bone. They had already beaten him for sport. They had broken 2 of his fingers. They had shattered his shoulder. Crowd loved Ito. Them humans were soft and new to the stars, full of noise and pride. Easy to crush. The High Marshal of the Vrok stepped forward. His armor shimmered with living metal. He raised 1 claw and the arena fell silent. The human has spoken of defiance. The Marshal hissed. He claims Earth will never bow. The crowd roared in mockery. The Marshal pointed at Eliasio. Us the strength of Earth. The cuffs released. Elias swayed but did not fall. One of the Vrok lunged. A blade flashed. It cut across Elias's chest. Blood sprayed onto the stone. The second warrior struck from behind. A fist like a hammer smashed into his spine. Elias hit the ground. The third warrior lifted him by the throat. The crowd howled. The Vrok enjoyed breaking bones. Slowly they enjoyed the sound. The third warrior slammed Elias down. Stone cracked. More blood pooled beneath him. The Marshal leaned closer to the edge. Your species will kneel high, said. Your fleets burn your colonies, fall your people. Beg. Elias lay still for a moment. Even the crowd quieted. The first warrior kicked him hard in the side. A rib snapped. The sound echoed. The human coughed red onto the stone. The Vrok raised a blade to finish it. Then Elias began to laugh. It was soft at first. A broken breath, then louder roar, and ragged but steady. The crowd shifted in confusion. The warrior hesitated. Elias rolled onto his back. His face was ruined, his teeth stained crimson, yet he was smiling. Is that all? He said through blood. The translator drones struggled to keep pace with his words. The Marshal frowned. The warrior struck again. A blade pierced Elias' thigh, pinned him to the ground. The human screamed. The sound tore from his chest, but when it faded, the laughter returned. You think pain is new to you, said you. Think we do not know. Losi coughed again. My people were born on a world that tries to kill us. Every day storms, squakes, fire as. In every shadow we learned to stand. The second warrior roared and brought both fists down. They crushed into Elias' chest. More ribs broke. The human vision blurred. He tasted iron. He felt the edge of darkness. Still he forced air into his lungs. You invaded our colonies, he said. You burned our cities. You enslaved our children. He looked up at the Marshal. And you think this will make us kneel? The crowd grew restless. This was not how prey behaved. The third warrior ripped the blade from Elias' leg. The wound gushed. Elias pressed a shaking hand against it. Blood slid between his fingers. The warrior raised all 4 arms for a killing strike. Elias moved, was not fast, it was not graceful, but it was enough. He rolled toward. The warrior grabbed one of the bone blades with his broken hand. The edge cut deep into his palm. He did not let go. He pulled. The warrior stumbled. Surprised, Elias drove his head forward. His skull smashed into the creature. Jaw teeth cracked. The crowd gasped. The second warrior charged. Elias yanked the blade free, spun with every ounce of strength left. The bone edge sliced through a joint in the Vrok armor. Black blood sprayed. The warrior shrieked. Elias collapsed to one knee. Vision fading, heart pounding like thunder. The first warrior lunged from behind. A blade tore across Elias' back. Skin open, muscle split. He fell forward again, flat on the stone. The arena roared once more. The marshal lifted both arms and Arfi commanded, "Finish him." The wounded warrior staggered forward, rage blazing in its many eyes. It raised a claw over Elias. Scullius could barely move. He could barely breathe. He thought of earth, blue oceans, green forests wined across, open fields. He thought of his sister, of the first rocket he had watched launch into the sky, of the promise humans made when they stepped into the stars. "We are small, but we endure." He laughed again, softer now, but still there. The claw came down and stopped. A low hum filled the arena, distant vibration. The stone beneath them trembled. The marshal turned, confusion flickered across his scaled face above the arena. The sky burned not with sunset, with warships dropped from orbit, hundreds of them, human ships, scarred and patched engines blazing bright. They tore through rock cruisers like spears. Explosions bloomed in the heavens. Fragments rained down like metal rain. The crowd screamed not in joy and fear. Elias rolled onto his side. Through one swollen eye he saw the sky split open. He smiled, "Told you," he whispered. The arena shields flickered, then shattered. Shock waves blasted across the stands. Human drop pods screamed down. They slammed into the arena. Floor hatches blew open. Armored soldiers poured out weapons. Roaring, the first rock warrior turned to feet. A burst of human plasma cut through its chest. The second tried to rune a sniper round, punched through its skull. The third staggered back from Elias, and so Tony Elias forced himself upright, every movement agony. He picked up the fallen bone blade. The warrior lunged in desperation. Elias stepped inside the reach, drove the blade up beneath its jaw. The point burst from the top of its head. Black blood rained down. The creature collapsed at his feet. Human soldiers surrounded him. One caught him before he fell. "We have you, sir," she said. Her visor reflected the burning sky. The marshal tried to escape. The arena human gunship descended in front of him. Cannons glowing. A voice boomed across the field. "This world is under human protection. Stand down." The marshal roared and charged. The gunship fired. Light swallowed him. Whole silence spread, slowly broken only by distant explosions. Above, Elias sagged in the arms of his soldiers. Medics rushed in. They sealed his wounds with foam and light. He looked at the sky. Again, human ships still arriving, still fighting. "You came here," murmured always Sir. The soldier replied, "You taught us." That he managed a faint grin. "Guess they should not have made me laugh." The soldier almost smiled. Almost. The arena that had been built for humiliation had become a symbol across the stars. Feeds carried the image, a broken human rising, laughing in the face of death, then standing when his people arrived. Distant colonies, humans watched with tears in their eyes. Vrock world's fear crept into cold hearts. They had believed humans were weak, too emotional, too fragile. They had not understood pain did not end humans. It fueled them. Loss did not break them, it united. Then fear did not silence them, made them louder. Elias drifted toward unconsciousness as evacuation. Ships lifted from Karth, primed. A Dominion fleet burned behind them. The war was far from over, but something had changed. The Vrock would remember this day. They would remember the sound of a human laughing while bleeding on stone. They would remember the sky turning against them. They would remember that Earth did not kneel as the medical frigate jumped to faster than light. Travalius eyes finally closed. His body was shattered, his bones broken, his blood spilled on alien rock, but his spirit was unbroken, and across the galaxy one truth spread faster than any fleet never beat. A human, and expect him to beg, because sometimes when you think you have crushed him, he will start laughing.